Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, kind of leading on from yesterday's video, we're going to be looking at the best 10 brawlers to max out within the meta right now. So these are going to be the type of brawlers that you want to be maxing out as quickly as possible to try and push in Power League, but also ladder as well. So before we jump into the video, then of course make sure you're using a creator code. That'd be greatly appreciated. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. Okay, so jumping into the 10th best brawler to max out in this current meta, we have Brock. So still, I recommended him last time I did this video. I still think he's a fantastic brawler to max out. By no means he's like completely broken, but he definitely has a really strong niche in certain few game modes. So heist and knockout in particular is a very strong pick. No matter whether it's a first or a last pick, he's always going to have tremendous value. The recent addition to the reload gear has really helped him within the meta, but this has really catapulted him in heist as well, because a lot of the time heist right now is actually more dependent on brawlers that just deal a lot of damage. So, you know, brawlers like 8-bit, Brock, Colt are really making a good mark in the heist meta right now. So definitely recommend picking up Brock for that kind of niche in heist and knockout. Okay, so next up at number 9, we have Crow. So Crow's brand new mythic gear isn't really the best. I don't see pros using it too much right now, but I still think he's a fantastic brawler to max out. He's got multiple builds which you can use. Also, his slow and toxin gadget is still incredibly strong, and as I feel like he has a really good place in the meta, because a lot of times you can always pull out Crow to counter so many different compositions, specifically really meta brawlers like Max, and also tanky compositions. He's really good on certain game modes like Hot Zone. On some maps like Ring of Fire, you can get so much value out of Crow's jump. Still, he's still a really strong brawler within the meta. People still underestimate the power of Crow. He's such a great brawler right now. So next up, as the 8th best brawler to max out in this current meta, in my opinion, it's going to be Ash. So Ash is by no means, again, another broken brawler, but I think in terms of last pick, he can be incredibly strong. You Ash mains know how strong Ash can go into certain compositions. You know, if an enemy, for example, doesn't pick any sort of tank counter, you can easily just 1v3 with Ash. There's certain game modes like Brawl, Gem Grab. He's incredibly strong on some bounty maps as well. I feel like he can always get some value. And the great thing about Ash is I feel like there's no right or wrong with his best build. You can use multiple gears just depending on your favorite. Literally all of them are really good except for probably the vision gear, so that's a great thing about him as well. Also, both stop powers are pretty good, and obviously chill pill gadget is going to be the best overall. But yeah, Ash definitely a really strong last pick right now, and also a great counter to a lot of meta brawlers like Jean, for example, and also Buster. He's a fantastic counter against. So next up, as the 7th best brawler to max out within this meta, we have Bell. So Bell is always a brawler which I recommend trying to rank up as much as possible in terms of your power points, just because the fact that Bell has literally always been meta. She's always been a top 15, top 20 brawler ever since her release. So I just feel like they're never going to like make Bell a bad brawler. So you can always have a safe assumption that your power points are safe with Bell, because she's always going to be near the top. The reason why she's so strong, she's just pretty much good going into everything, especially when the map gets opened up. She's a really strong mid on certain heist maps. Also, when it comes down to Gem Grab, Brawl, you can never go wrong with maxing out Bell. Because the next up as his 6th best brawler to max out within this meta, it's still going to be Squeak. So you're probably bored of Squeak's gadget by now, but it's so incredibly strong, and I definitely recommend you to max him out, because he's still, even in this meta, is one of the best brawlers as a last pick. So you can see this list is kind of mixed between brawlers that are good as a first pick, so like incredibly OP brawlers like Squeak and Ash that are good as a 6th pick, and then kind of those in between. You want to have a balance in your brawler portfolio, because of course you're never going to be guaranteed a first pick in the Power League draft, or you're never guaranteed last pick. So that's why I recommend definitely mixing things up. So Squeak, it definitely fits the last pick or even first pick on some maps a role, because of how strong his gadget is. Just way too much value. I can't stress it enough. Squeak is still a fantastic brawler to max out. Okay, so next up as the 5th best brawler to max out in this current meta, we have Carl. So Carl still continues to be such an insane brawler in this meta. Normally by now they end up just killing him with a ridiculous nerf, but he still is a top 10 brawler. You probably saw it yesterday, so a little bit boring to include him on this list, but I just really like Carl in terms of versatility. You can always pick him on multiple maps and game modes. I feel like there's not a scenario really where you can't pick a Carl, you know, if you're ever in doubt of who you can actually pick on that map. You know, he's really strong on bounty. I've said it time and time again. Shooting star, Canal Grande layer cake, he's a really good pick on all of those. Brawl is literally the best brawler in Brawl in my opinion, because of how strong his flying hook gadget is, and especially if you know how to use the protective pirouette super really well, you can basically win every single matchup as long as they haven't got some kind of cancellation. And there actually isn't a lot of brawlers that cancel out his super that are meta right now. And, you know, gem grab, he's a really good lane. High stick can even be pretty good on some maps. I just think he's the perfect brawler to max out. Okay, so next up, as the 4th best brawler to max out right now, we have Penny. So Penny, you're probably bored of Penny again in the meta. She hasn't been nerfed whatsoever, and by no means is she like completely broken, right? But she's just this brawler which, again, literally every single game mode and map, you couldn't go wrong with going to Penny like his 2nd or 3rd pick, or even 4th, 5th. You get what I mean. Maybe not as a last or 1st pick, but Penny just fits that role where, you know, if you don't know what to go, you can always go her, because there actually isn't too many brawlers that like hard counter. There's always a way you can win certain matchups. You know, you've got the gadget against tanky brawlers. You've also got the turret, which can kind of act as a 4th player. Again, there's only really a couple of maps which I wouldn't recommend Penny on, but overall, she's such a great brawler. Definitely recommend maxing her out because there's just so much usage out of her. So next up, as the 3rd best brawler to max out right now, we have Grom. So it is the return of the Grom meta. I don't think he's like crazily broken like last time, but he's definitely a menace right now in the meta, as people realize, you know, called it as the balance changes dropped. But as time is going on, he's slowly becoming, I don't know, maybe even close to a top 10 brawler. It's really OP in certain circumstances. So again, the only thing about Grom is that I maybe wouldn't recommend picking him 1st pick just yet. Still feel like aggro brawlers can really get a hold of him, but overall, I think it's so incredibly toxic. You know, there's certain maps in the game, like Center Stage, which is out right now, which he just completely 1v3s the opponents with his gadget, and just really easy to hit shots right now. So I definitely recommend maxing him out, because I feel like he is definitely that type of carry brawler in this meta. Alright guys, jumping into the 2nd best brawler to max out within this meta, it is Jean. So Jean, again, is a brawler which I always recommend maxing out right now. A lot of people still underrate Jean because they don't understand how to play him. I would say he's a really underused brawler in ladder right now. You know, maybe because there's just too many aggro brawlers, but within competitive, within Power League, Club League, he is your main go-to brawler because of how good he is going into everything. He's so good at just doing multiple things right. You've got a really strong vision gear pairing. You've got his brand new mythic gear, which can just pull brawlers across the map, which is crazy broken, by the way. Definitely recommend maxing that out as much as possible. You've got the star power, which is probably one of the best, if not the best, star power in the game, offering you and your team so much healing. Just overall, there's so much versatility with Jean, which in Power League you really can't go wrong, probably except for highs. Alright guys, so jumping into the best brawler to max out right now. It's a little bit boring going the best brawler in the game to max out, but the main reason why I've picked him is because of his pick rate in competitive. It's just through the roof. There's no way I can't make this list without putting Otis on it near the top 3. It's just a brawler which, again, maybe a little bit boring to play for some people, but if you want to get the most trophies, if you want to progress the highest in Power League and Club League, you need to max him out, because you can literally use him every single composition. You know, if he isn't banned, just put him in your composition straight away. He's going to completely dominate. His super is so toxic. Even in some game modes where you feel like Otis might not be the strongest, you know, he's even really strong in heist. You know, secretly he does have a lot of DPS onto that save. So everything about Otis is just a perfect brawler right now. Alright guys, it's going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this one. So I feel like I explained my points pretty well on the top 10 brawlers to max out right now. Let me know who you'd max out. Of course, you can just play it safe and just go with like the best 10, 15 brawlers in the meta. You can't go wrong with that one, but I feel like I made some really valid points in the fact that, again, you want to mix up your portfolio, and I'm kind of using the, you know, advice that I'm doing on my free-to-play account. You know, I'm telling you guys what I'm kind of doing there, so that's really going to help you in the future. But I probably will make a video on Gray pretty soon once his 2nd gadget and star power comes out, because I feel like he's definitely a brawler that you want to be maxing out pretty soon as well. So that's going to be it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.